broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Ed Group from Global Healing Center. I hope you tune in and listen to Justin and Kate's Extreme Health Radio. It will transform your life, and you will get all the best health information you need.
Wake up your immune system to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Visit CARNIVORA.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY today.
Welcome to a Free-for-All Thursday.
Free-for-all Thursday, whether anybody likes it or not. Unfortunately, I have some really strange sound issues today.
The radio gods are against us today.
Not only that, we have a ghost in our house.
I think it's the ghost making the soundboard problem. As we're trying to fix the soundboard and all this stuff this morning, a giant crashing noise goes on in the other room, and I run out there to see, and nothing fell. Nothing's going on.
Something massive just fell over.
It sounded like our couch fell over.
And nothing was changed?
Nothing.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing's weird out there.
And we can't get the soundboard thing to work. We've apologized. We were scheduled this is going to be 290, episode 290. We're scheduled to talk to Dr. Larry Lytle today. I could say that. This day is crazy. We went away for a week. We did a bunch of sound testing this morning, and for some reason, we can't get our soundboard to work correctly.
Weirdest thing ever.
I know.
Didn't touch anything.
No, all the levels are fine. Everything is good. But somehow something, this is living in the flow.
I was going to say, as frustrating as that was, and I know you didn't want to hear it when you were pulling our hair out 10 seconds ago, but I said, this is living in the flow. For some reason, there was nothing happens for no reason. I don't know why we weren't supposed to have that show today, but it is what it is. So
I know. No attachments,
I'm trying to flow with it. It's all good. And we have him rescheduled for a live show, right?
I think it's going to be a live show.
We're adding a show next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's all good.
So this is episode 290, Free for All Thursday. This is challenging to go with the flow, and I was so excited to talk to Dr. Larry Lytle because we had so many people writing in about the laser and people calling and asking and everything about it, and so I was so excited to talk to him. And for some reason, the soundboard just is not working.
You know what? We'll still be just as excited to talk to him on Thursday, and we'll get everyone's questions that they wrote in answered.
That's true.
I'm happy to be here. This is a fabulous, sunny, beautiful day, July 31st, 2014.
July 31st, 2014. Isn't that nuts?
Crazy.
Time is flying by.
Right?
Yeah, crazy.
Wow. Well, we had a good week and a half off of shows, and we had one yesterday, and it was so good to be back.
We're curious to see what people thought about the show that we did in studio with Amy Schuber yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Episode 289. Wasn't that fun?
She is wonderful.
That was so cool.
She is so wonderful.
Yeah, I loved what she was talking about, the need for a coach and living with intention, living with purpose. I thought that was really cool.
You know what's funny about, I rarely listen to our own podcast because I don't have that much time, and I'm always working on the next podcast by the time, this happens.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that is one I'm dying to hear again, because I just feel like, to me, it was like the equivalent of listening to the Hay House World Summits, where you just leave feeling like this empowered person full of vision, just really filled up.
Yeah.
And, when she was talking yesterday, it made me it made so much sense the way that she's talking about, coaches aren't just for, they can be used for so many purposes in someone's life.
Right.
But life is the biggest thing. How come we don't have coaches for it? It seems like everyone should have. If life is all we really have and it's the biggest thing and it's always going on, why do we not all surround ourselves with coaches?
I know. I think that
she's talking about how there's sports coaches, financial coaches. There's coaches for these specific areas, but life is just hard or
every specialty
surprising.
There's a coach, right? Every specialty there's a coach. If you do ballet, if you do anything, dance, if you do jiu-jitsu, if you go work out at the gym, you have a trainer. Everywhere has coaches, but for some reason, I don't know why people don't have a life coach. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, I know I've talked about this for a while, wanting my own coach, and just having that conversation yesterday just reiterated it, or established that is something that's so beneficial to people. Life is so crazy, and if you don't have people behind you on your team,
at least have the equivalent of a coach.
Somebody.
Supporters and people that are going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, whether it's a friend or family member or just somebody that you feel super comfortable with and you can tell anything to and not feel judged. And that's the thing, though. I feel like for a lot of people like myself, having that sacred space, like outside of anyone else who knows you and has preconceived judgments or opinions of you, is a really safe place. And I think that could be really beneficial for me. So,
I think that some people think the idea of a coach is a bit... not presumptuous. What's the correct term where, like the coach knows everything? Because if you have like a basketball coach, it makes sense if you have a basketball coach or if you have a jiu-jitsu coach or something, some kind of sport coach. It makes sense that person would be an expert in that area.
Right.
But I think people might think, oh, how is anyone an expert at life?
Oh, yeah, like figured it all out.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you look at any sort of, like even in the World Cup recently that was just on, all those players had soccer coaches. But it's not as if the coach is better. It's not like a life coach is better at life than anybody else. It's just that they have a different perspective. So like if you...
And they're not going to be able to go out and play the exact same way that the player would.
Yeah. I mean, the player,
Everyone's
like for example, Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, basketball players, their coach, if you made all the coaches play against each other, it would be horrible. You know what I mean?
True.
Think about if you just got rid of Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or any of these high-level athletes. It's not as if a life coach somehow is better at life and can look down on you or has some edge on life. It's just that they offer a different perspective. Because if you're in the heat of the battle playing some sort of game, you only see in a linear perspective physically on the court or on the field a certain way, but you can't see the guy that's running up behind you.
Right.
And so the coach standing on the sidelines or the coach that watches video can actually look from many different angles and see things, and they could see little idiosyncrasies that you're doing. Like if you're putting your hands on your knees, you may say, "I'm not tired. I don't want to come out of the game," but that action says that, and the coach will take you out.
And that could be as equivalent in life to, self-sabotaging and things that everyone else, might be able to see, or that at least the coach could see that you have no idea you're doing. And it's as easy as putting your hands on your, it's like these little things that seem so little and yet they're so like debilitating or holding you back from your best game, Because
I had that when I was in, playing basketball in high school. People would say, don't let the coach catch you with your hands on your knees because that means you're tired.
I remember you said that. That's so funny.
Yeah, during free throws, everyone would sort of halfway bend over because they're just so tired. And so the coach would, no matter what you said to him, I'm not tired, keep me in, I want to play, the coach would take you out. And so, all these little subtleties, and a coach is able to see different perspectives and different angles on your life and maybe look at the subtle subconscious things you're doing. Like you said, sabotage you.
Well, and I think the thing too, if you can get beyond because for a while there I thought life coach, it sounds so, like you said, you feel like people,
what's the word for that,
other than you have it figured out. I don't know what the word is. I know what you mean.
Sort of like they're sitting on top of the mountain and they've figured things out.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of the word either, but I do feel like that. I felt like that for a while, and then you realize if you feel like it's going to add to your life and be helpful, it takes like a sense of humility to ask for that addition to your life. It almost takes like
to ask for a coach.
Yeah. Or, to ask for it and be okay and letting maybe other people even know you have one, because I don't know why any kind of help, or whether it's a life coach or whether it's a therapist or whether it's a psychologist, like whoever it is you're working with or an accountability partner, like something about that to me seems like a we've all thought that seems like a weakness. Like if you need help from somebody else, it's because you're weak and you're lacking something. And I'm viewing this coaching thing as the complete opposite. Like my heart is in such a place where I'm like, oh my gosh, anything anybody can give to add or help me. Like at this point, like, it's just a blessing.
I guess it's just ego, isn't it?
It's ego. And I think once that kind of gets out of the way, because I used to kind of be like, oh, I don't know. I mean, why would I need a coach?
Would you feel at all concerned that the coach would that everything you tell the coach would be safe?
Confidential? Yeah, I do.
You do?
I think that goes back to like talking to Amy yesterday about what that looks like, though. I mean, I think that you'll immediately have a sense of feeling comfortable or not. You'll have that yes or you'll have that no. I don't think there'll be, like with me, I know that immediately, unfortunately, when I meet somebody, I know right away whether or not I'm going to gel with them, within the first 30 seconds. Especially with clients and things. So I feel very confident that I would know within the first minute or two of talking to somebody whether it's a long-term possibility for me. But I do think that there are people I'd feel safer with than others, and people that I'd want to open up to more.
I guess if you told the life coach, I guess if you told anyone something that's really, I mean, what if you told them something really bad you did? I guess, like, I don't know, maybe something like breaking the law, is the life coach or is the psychologist?
Shot a man in Reno. Just kidding. Was it Johnny Cash?
Just to watch him die. Is the life coach or the psychologist, are they under some sort of thing that they have to tell?
I think therapists and psychologists are, but I don't know about life coaches. I mean, that's just the same as you telling a friend you shot and killed somebody. Or, I mean, I don't think they're under any obligation because they're not like, I mean, I guess they have certifications, some of them, but I don't know if it's like a legal thing.
Well, I think
they'd be looking out for your best interest, though, and like trying to help you through that process either way of what's going to be the most beneficial for you to move on. And that's probably to come clean with a lot of things that if they're that horrible,
Yeah.
But I think that's
if you've killed someone, if you shot a man in Reno, I don't think you're going to be the type of person that would hire a life coach.
Kirsty's telling me to turn myself in.
What did you do last night, Kate?
And you wonder why the show started so late today. I had a shovel in the backyard.
What's that hole doing in the backyard? I don't know.
No, the thing with the coach, though, is like, I feel like it's just, like she said yesterday, somebody just backing you and making you feel like you can, just face those things that are hard and challenging, along with celebrate your joys with you. And, it's like a friend with maybe just a little more insight and honesty into your life than maybe a lot of friends feel comfortable saying to you. But I feel like we watched this really killer movie. What was it, 2 nights ago? The last 2 nights while we were in the sauna?
Oh, yeah.
What was it called? Shadow
Effect.
Shadow Effect by Debbie Ford. That is a great little, it's not a documentary. What would you call it? Like a movie?
It's short little movie, I think.
And that was a really interesting thing because she's talking about, we could get into the whole what a shadow is, and everybody has a shadow. And I was reading a whole thing about that Ina Segal wrote in The Secret of Life Wellness about your shadow personality or your shadow, these things that make us all up, and there's different parts. And that's the first time I'd ever heard the word your shadow self. Yeah. And she has a small section on it, and it was basically what Debbie Ford's movie went into more detail about those dark things in us. Like why are there certain things we do, whether we're good people? I think Deepak Chopra wrote a book too called Why Good People Do Bad Things.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know, right?
Good, nice. Just dropping knowledge on.
I want to read it though, but there's a part in that movie where everyone, she has a group. I don't know whether it's an exercise she does at her seminar she gives, but they all had blindfolds on. And she pairs them up to talk either with a group of 2 or 3, and without knowing and ever seeing these people without their blindfold before, so they don't know who they're with or anything, these people open up and share these dark sides of their shadow self. Like on that movie, somebody was like,
yeah, I remember that.
I cheated on my wife. I stole something. I stole from my boss. I took money from this. I cheated on my tax returns. Like all these things that people needed to get out of themselves to lessen that shadow side and be real, like almost not hide from the shadow like we all do because we're embarrassed and we're afraid of being like sought out and seen for what we really are.
Yeah.
But she's talking about going into that space and actually being okay with it and nurturing it and coming to terms with it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a release when you get that stuff out of your body. It's like when we go back to the emotion code and the healing codes and all those guests we've had on about the emotional stuffing that we do. It's not good to stuff. And we talked a little bit about that with Amy yesterday in the studio, how if you're tucking all your crazy back in, and all your dark stuff, you're not going to, in a real way, like be able to heal and on so many levels. Don't you think?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I think that there's a lot of, how should I say this? I think that there's a lot that is very important for people to do an energetic cleanse.
What do you mean?
Kind of like all the emotion and energy and things like that, and to cleanse that stuff out. So it's sort of like counseling or sort of like that kind of thing. But this whole unseen world that we live in, whether it's electromagnetic fields or whether it's emotions, stuffing emotions, or whether it's feeling guilt or fear or beating yourself up, or all this radiation and wireless technology that we're around. It's all energy. And I think that we do a lot of things like colon cleansing and tissue cleansing and bowel cleansing and enemas and colonics and things like that. But no one ever really talks about emotion or energy cleansing. And that's kind of like the stuff that what is his name? Dr. Lloyd?
Dr. Alex Lloyd.
Yeah, he was on our show.
And Bradley Nelson. They do a lot of work with emotional clearing. And that's kind of like what also Dr. Massey talks about. But I think it's really important, I mean, like you can't have this whole shadow, effect and have a secret. And, there are no secrets, eventually everything will come out, so it's like, getting rid of that stuff is really important. And well, I feel like you can't even hold a secret in yourself. Like you can't even not tell yourself a secret. It's like, like you're your own entity, and it's not a secret when you yourself carry that. I mean, there are no such thing as secrets.
Would you like to, or would you feel comfortable doing that exercise where they had the blindfolds on in that movie?
I thought about that last night. I actually think that would be really cathartic.
Could you do it with strangers better than you could with friends? Like if all your friends were that way, if let's say you
first of all, I'd know all their voices and I'd be like, you did what?
What are you doing? That's true, huh?
So yeah, it'd have to be strangers.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I knew something was off with you.
Oh man, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Yeah, you know all their voices.
But the interesting thing on that movie, and I've heard it before, is for every finger we point at somebody judging something, there's always 3 pointing back at you. I mean, that's so true. Like, so every time, even if I were to do that to a stranger or a friend or whatever, there'd be 3 back at me because I'm just as guilty of other things, maybe not those specific things. But I would, I would find it very, very almost relieving to do that in a group of strangers. Yeah. I think that'd be awesome. I would totally do that. I think that's a really neat exercise.
Do you think that's why people are drawn to that, for going to a priest and doing that kind of confession thing?
It's kind of the same thing. I mean, you don't really see who's on the other side, and yeah, it's something about this blind telling where you're able to release these things to people. I don't know why it's when we see people that we feel like we're being judged. I mean, how much easier is it to tell somebody something over the phone and not see their expression when it's going to let them down than it is to tell them in person? I mean, I feel like that.
Yeah, I know it's easier. Yeah, I wonder if, if there's more like the whole confession thing in Catholicism. I think it's like, I wonder if there is just healing in the fact that you're getting it off your chest, but not necessarily the priest is saying you're forgiven.
I think it's, that's interesting.
The priest can't forgive. I mean, maybe if you.
But what if the placebo effect kicks in right there?
That's what I mean. Like, what if it's, what if
the placebo?
The placebo.
The placebo.
What if you walked in there and there was no priest in there, but you didn't know it? And
right.
And you said all the stuff that you did and you got it off. You'd probably still heal. Whether or not the priest told you that you're actually forgiven.
I bet.
But
I bet it's just clearing your own, clearing yourself out, like just getting it out of your body.
That would be weird, I think, to do. But yeah, really interesting movie though. I like what you said all about in the movie, the placebo effect, about how, a lot of the people, I mean, we've known this forever, but a lot of the people that are so against certain things are the very ones that are committing those things. She gives all these examples of different people. Politician in New York, what was his name? Who was?
Oh yeah, I forget that guy's name.
He was seeing that prostitute, that call girl, and his whole platform was getting rid of, prostitution on the streets in New York. That was in the 90s, wasn't it?
That was a big story, huh?
Yeah, and lo and behold, he was caught with this prostitute. But and then a bunch of
it's always
preachers and things.
It always seems to be the stuff that you're so. I mean, that's why when anybody's so against something, I'm wondering what's really going on in there. Like,
yeah, I always get weird about when people are so against something,
I know.
or when people are I don't know what it is about the marriage thing. I get this too. Like when people or relationships, when people are so into each other affectionately in public.
Well, 9 out of 10 times, the people we know that are just all goo-goo all over each other are divorced within like a year.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
What is that? It's like you're making up for... People are making up for knowing, they know how insecure the relationship is, so they're just in public trying to buy into the lie. Trying to make it better.
Yeah.
And look better. I don't know.
And, it was cool bringing it back to Amy when she was in the studio. I like the whole idea that we're talking about Don Miguel Ruiz's book and the whole mask thing.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting.
That was, huh?
Yeah.
What did she have to say specifically on that?
Well, just that, just like in that book, The Four Agreements, we have these masks that we put on every day. And whether you go to work and you wear a mask and you act like you love your job, or if you go to somewhere else, if you're in a horrible relationship and you act like everything's fine.
Yeah, you're always putting on these different masks to be different things to different people, right?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. If you go to your friend who's really interested in all this kind of health stuff, you'll talk about health. But then if you go to someone else and talk to someone else, sure, they're all different sides of you, but it's all it's all mask. And so you bring up sides of yourself to one person that you don't give to someone else. And some other person, some third person thinks they know you, but they only know one slice of you. And it's interesting because if they were to all speak at your funeral, they would all be shocked.
Yeah.
Because they'd say, "Oh my gosh, I never knew he was into that." Well, that's because you...
Well, they all knew a different person.
Yeah, they all knew a different person. Yeah.
I've done that my whole life, I feel like. My whole career life.
Really?
Yeah, the minute I got into the salon, I became that person. I'm still guilty of being that person.
Like the chameleon, huh?
Yeah, like I can morph so well into who people want me to be and what they think I am and who I started out being for them.
Yeah.
And again, like we were talking with Amy, it's just people like you who they are. They like you the best who you are when they first meet you. It's true. I mean...
Well, they create this story of who they think you are. They build this whole story in their head. And as long as you fit within the margins of that story that they've created, then everything's going to be fine. But as soon as you start acting as your real self and you start displaying opinions about things that they don't like, that, doesn't fit within the realms of the character they had made up about you, then all of a sudden...
Amber Marie, our friend in the chat, she just nailed it. Like, this is exactly how it is. She says, I feel like I've always changed for people in ways I needed to make them feel most comfortable.
Yeah, I do that too.
And that is exactly it, Amber. You nailed it. That is what's happening.
Yeah, because you don't want to hurt them or you don't want to make life more difficult for them. So you acquiesce to whatever they think you are.
And why is it that we need them to be comfortable? Like... For us to be comfortable? Like, why do we care if people are comfortable? I spend my whole time uncomfortable making them comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, we're always putting ourselves last, and then we're just empty and depleted shells of people. Like,
yep.
It's a weird thing.
It's weird because what if you were to sit down and think, okay, this is my mom, my dad, my kids, whatever. If they knew this about me, if they knew that I was this way or thought these types of things, it would make them very, very uncomfortable. So, like, if you were to sit down and think about what that would actually be like, why not just start drip feeding little tiny things about who you are? When things come up, why not just sort of drip feed stuff to them and just give it to them very
baby
slowly?
Bites. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes not so subtle. What on Family Vacation?
What happened? What do you mean?
I think there was some stuff on Family Vacation that was, that's the thing. Sometimes I surprise myself because I start out subtly dripping and that's where I feel most comfortable. But sometimes it's like, I had enough. Like we were on the beach with my family and we were under this, canvas thing and in the hot sun. And I was eating these seaweed snacks.
Oh yeah.
And my mom looks over and she's like, oh my gosh, like I saw a bunch of kids eating those on the beach the other day. Are they good? And it was interesting that she was interested because it seems like something a year ago she would have been repulsed by.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, they're really good. They kind of taste a little fishy at first, but now I'm used to them and I really, really like them, And she says, okay, well, can I try them? I'm like, yeah. So I give her a couple and she's like, they remind me of sardines. And so she loves sardines out of a can, by the way.
Okay.
So these were really a good thing for her. So she starts eating them. And then my dad stops her by her second little, if anyone, eats seaweed chips, like a bunch of us, they're these skinny little wafer things that are like a wafer in your mouth and they're just gone. Like they melt practically.
Yeah, yeah.
I think she'd had 2 of them.
Wow.
And my dad says, oh, you should be very careful about your stomach. you got to be careful with your digestion. You don't know if it's going to upset you. Like, I would go really slow. And immediately her face kind of sunk, and she's like, oh, yeah, okay, you're probably right. And she hands it back to me, and I was like, aren't they good? She's like, they're great. I'm like, well, why don't you eat the rest of them? She's like, I should probably just like ease into it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Okay. So then 5 minutes later, my brother-in-law brings down string cheese. And she's like stuffing her face with string cheese. And as I hear her go, I'll have a string cheese, I turned to you, like we were kind of off to the side on our towels. But I turned to you and I felt so snarky, sarcastic. But I'm like that isn't going to affect you like badly. Like as if that's going to be good for your colon. I think that's what I said. And I shouldn't have said it, but it was like, and it was a little, they could have probably heard.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find like, okay, Kate, like calm down and do the trickling. Don't be the sarcastic, snarky, like, but it was just so insane to me. I'm like, you're going to stuff your body full of string cheese with no problem, but you're like, my dad thinks that the seaweed crackers are going to like hurt her body. I don't know. It was so foreign to me.
Yeah. And she just sort of went along with it.
And I felt bad. It just shut her down. Like she was all excited about the seaweed crackers. And then she got sad. It was like, oh, Mom, like, I don't know why he thinks he has to remind her what she can and can't eat like a little kid, though. I'm like,
yeah,
even if that is going to make her stomach hurt, which I doubt it ever would, let her figure it out. She's like a 65-year-old woman. Like,
yeah, right.
I think she could put her big girl pants on and
and have the intuition herself,
right?
Because I think it's the idea of not wanting people to make mistakes and things. We're gonna take a little bit of a break, but there's another situation too that happened in terms of cannabis. That came up. Talk about drip feeding. Little dribs and drabs to
dribs
people,
and drabs,
where people are probably thinking, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think you believed that. That's weird."
Okay,
I'm coming to you for like some sort of like-mindedness, and all of a sudden you throw this at me.
Oh, right. Yes. I just figured this out. I'm a little slow today. We'll go there when we get back.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be right back.
Real people, real stories.
And he discovered Carnivora, was so thrilled with the product that he shared it with his family and his friends and his patients. My dad was a family physician. He was a medical doctor.
Almost all the symptoms were either diminished or gone. Amazing product, amazing results.
And found Carnivora. Something really wonderful was happening. I had to show my family. I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
It's like an amazing thing having such a profound change in how I feel and knowing that it was the Carnivora that did it.
Hello, folks. Richard Ostro, owner for Carnivora Research International here. Wake up your immune system and that of your loved ones to protect yourselves against harmful invaders. Used successfully by President Reagan in 1985 when he had it sent to the White House. Visit carnivora.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY. That's CARNIVORA.com or dial 1-866-VENUS-FLY and start protecting yourself today.
Did you know that conventional dog food contains antibiotics, herbicides, pesticides, ground up carcasses from roadkill subjected to high heat processing, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, way too many carbohydrates, genetically modified corn syrups, indigestible grains, and a lack of moisture content in the dry kibble? Obviously, this can lead to health conditions like diabetes, itchy skin, teeth and gum problems, liver damage, obesity, behavioral issues, pancreatic problems, and even cancer. That's why we recommend the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw food diet from Barf World. Their unprocessed raw meats contain bone, organ meats, vitamins, and minerals that are loaded with enzymes. Barf World founder Robert Mueller explains more.
Sure, I don't have to convince you on the damage that's caused by high heat to food. So as a result, we see many skin disorders, a lot of arthritis, obesity, heart disease, cancers. I mean, it's just rampant. The pet clinics are just full of these conditions. And basically a large percentage of the commercial pet food is made up of the human industry leftovers. And the pet food industry makes use of this waste product. And in addition to that, we are subjected to the products coming out of the rendering plants. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage to your dog, you're going to end up with garbage health. And if you put the right gas in, your engine runs smoother and lasts longer. So if you put the right fuel in the tank, you're going to get the right output. Garbage in, garbage out.
We've seen an immense difference with our dog Maggie being on this diet. Give your dog the gift of health today by going to extremehealthradio.com/barf or go to our store. That's extremehealthradio.com/barf to learn even more.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
Good time here, episode 290. For those that are interested in checking out any of the show notes, we appreciate that. And I just want to let everybody know, as far as being on the live show, are you on, Kate?
I don't think I can hear you. Are you on?
I'm on.
Okay, I'll pretend like I can hear you because you're sitting next to me. But
are you sure you can't hear me?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, what was I saying?
We'll carry on. Show notes?
No.
Shoot.
What was it?
I don't even know what you were just saying.
Oh, I don't remember what I was saying.
I'm sorry.
No. I want to let everybody know about the show tomorrow. We're not going to be live, unfortunately. We had some scheduling issues. So tomorrow there will be another Free for All Friday show, but it won't be live. So I just want to let everybody know that.
And that's my bad.
Yeah, and please, guys, check out our sponsors. If you guys are really interested in some really great products, we have Live On Labs right now, Carnivora. You can learn more about them by going onto their website through our link. Please go to their sponsors because it really does help us a lot, and we want to support our sponsors. They're doing such great work, and we take their products and support them wholeheartedly. So they're really good stuff, Carnivora, and as well as all the other ones too. You can see links to those actually on the sidebar of our website.
I'm loving me some spirulina every morning in my smoothie.
I know, right? It's super good.
Yeah.
So you want to say something? I think you had something.
I was going to say... I was going pee at the break, and I just remembered pride comes before a fall, my friends. Let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
On our mountain trip, I'm still recovering from my road rash from paddleboarding.
Oh, yeah.
Stand-up paddleboarding. Brother-in-law rents one. Anybody want to take a spin? Sure, I get out there. I'm thinking, I'm going to haul as fast as I can around that buoy and then come right back and just get a good arm workout going.
Yep.
And I hauled out there, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
I was going crazy. I'm thinking, this is so good for my abs. This is good for my, it's good for everything. Just being out in nature. I'm having a great old time. I go around the buoy successfully, no problem maneuvering this thing. I'm hauling into the shore almost to where you're probably only up to your knees. Like I could have got off the thing and I'm just charging it like I'm going to a finish line. And all of a sudden I just get taken out by this log. There was like a log underwater with a giant, what do you call that? Branch shooting off of it.
Branch, yeah.
Just hit it directly and just ate it. Just went off and fell in a bunch of rocks and went down and have all these scrapes. And look, I'm just now recovering from my scabs.
Oh my gosh.
But I was in the bathroom going, man, I can't believe how worked I got. And I was just so proud of myself. And I got water up my nose. It was bad news. I looked like a drowned rat. And I had my clothes on, remember?
Yeah, you did. You did.
My hat.
You're confident?
That was bad news.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, pride, it does not pay to be prideful. I hadn't had a whooping like that in a while.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I saw you fall. I saw you took the tumble.
Well, yeah, you and Andrew were over there in 5 seconds going oh my gosh. And everybody on the beach was oh, wipe out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That was bad.
So did you want to say something about the cannabis? I think we had a little story about that.
Oh, that was funny.
About just about drip feeding people and letting them know a little bit about kind of some of the things that you don't necessarily agree with them anymore. Because that was kind of an interesting story. What happened?
Yeah, on our vacation, it was interesting. There was what's it called?
This couple that was sitting down by the water, right?
Yeah, and they had a little girl that was at the age of our niece, and my sister and her husband and our little niece made friends with this other little girl, and they were the nicest people. And so we were talking with them. They were really sweet. Well, so for 2 days straight, we saw them, and the girls kind of played together and all this stuff. Well, it turns out that the couple, for their job, they grow and distribute medical marijuana. And I don't remember what happened, but I went up to our family cabin to get something and came back, and my mom's in this hush-hush tone, you won't believe what those people do, those nice people with that baby. I was like, what, Mom? She's like, they grow medical marijuana. She was like, hush, hush, but don't say anything because I don't want to. And I go, oh my gosh, like, what? Okay, first of all, they're not bad people. These are the nicest people I've ever met. Like,
yeah.
And second of all, it just came flooding back to me of how nobody has any idea our thoughts on anything because they don't care to ask us. Like,
and she sort of confided in you as someone who would agree with her.
And again, there was a hat she wanted me to wear. She wanted me to be that person who would have always banned with her and been like, oh, I can't believe they grow drugs. I can't believe, why do we even have pot? Why is there marijuana? Like, why should anybody even legally have it? Like, and so I just felt like it was one of those moments, like you had too, because you heard the whole thing go down.
Yeah.
And I didn't really say much other than, Mom, they seem like really cool people. And I said, somebody's got to grow it.
Yeah, someone's got to grow it.
But, and I'm not saying that I'm going to smoke pot or have ever smoked pot or, and, needing that at this time in life. Maybe if I had a disease, and I really think it can bring a lot of relief to people, which is the whole reason why they have medical licenses for it. But, I mean, just the cannabis oil itself, like, nobody in our family thought to say, what do you guys know about marijuana? Or we didn't feel comfortable enough to say, what do you guys want to know about cannabis oil and how it can help dying people? Or
it's immediate judgment.
It's immediate judgment. Like, it just reminded me that I'm still on that journey of really drip feeding, like you say, people into what it is I'm about and what my beliefs are, because
and it seemed like your mom was really surprised at what you said.
She was very, I think.
She was kind of taken back by your response to that.
I think because I said they're really nice people and somebody's got to grow it.
She was expecting you to side with her.
Yeah.
And so it's
I know.
It's one of those things where it's like all these really defined opinions and all these attitudes and beliefs that we have that are so strong, come from somewhere. And it seems like we learn them, and people don't really question anything they learn. They just sort of go along with it.
Yeah.
And it's just strange because, you sort of just believe all these things and then you just live a life where you just believe something just because you always have believed it, but not because it's true or not because...
Or not because you've ever even allowed to think about it and make your own...
Yeah, you've never looked into it. You just sort of handed these things.
Yeah.
And so when your mom came to you, I think she was sort of shut down because you were saying the complete opposite.
Yeah, and I wasn't even condoning it. I was just saying, like, well, there isn't, because I grew up like, all alcohol is bad, all drugs are bad, marijuana is the devil, like all this, there was never any room to go, wow, is there a situation in which this might be helpful at some point in some disease or some situation for somebody?
Right.
Just ask that question, like,
yeah,
that opens up critical thinking that I wish I would have thought at 13, but here I am at 35 going, wow, there does seem to be like some sort of use for those things in the right way,
Yeah, and I think that, I'm not sure how powerful, because the whole point of this story is not, I mean, marijuana is actually, I think, a made up term. I mean, it's cannabis. Marijuana is a term that's used to demonize, to disparagingly talk about this incredibly, the most incredible plant on earth.
Talk about the most powerful.
The most powerful plant that's ever existed in humankind. No wonder why it's got to be illegal. It shuts down in trillion-dollar industries. Exactly. But the point of this isn't to talk about that. It's to talk about how we come across to people and is wearing masks. You know what I mean? And so you wonder, is it enough to sort of drip feed people? Because, is your mom going to just forget about that and still think that you're the same way? Or do you have to come out and have some really big revelation to your mom or to certain people and say, hey, I am this way? You know what I mean? In order for them to sort of finally say, okay, I'm not going to still think that you're this way.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wonder if certain people are...
I know what you mean. And then sometimes I'm thinking in situations like that, is it even worth it? Like, I know, I mean, I don't want to say I know that she's never going to change, but based on what I've witnessed this far, I think she is pretty set in who she is. Mm-hmm. What good would it do to cause her pain or drama or worry about me to tell her something that's not going to add to anybody's life? It's not going to help me. It's not going to help her.
Yeah, if she were on a journey.
I'm not hiding anything, but it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, if she were on a journey and, for self-growth and personal growth and things like that, it might be a different thing, because you could see how she could change or she could open her mind up. But I think the idea of just drip feeding parts of yourself to people and doing it in a very loving way, and over time, if people are aware and awake, they'll start realizing that you don't see the world the same way as they think and they always thought you did.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the healthier way to do it too.
That was a good conversation we had with Amy about that stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
I think there is like a really slow kind of a low grade way to ease into that.
Yeah.
And then you really start, I mean, you can't really ditch your family, but you start having the eye opening of who your friends are, why you let them in, and why they're called friends, and if they're worth calling friends anymore. If you're just being judged all the time, or they're not willing to have an open conversation with you, then that's not a friendship. That's not a two-way street.
Yeah. I know. It's it's just having the humbleness and the courage to ask questions, and the ability to not have a complete attachment to all of your opinions and ideas, and being willing to change your opinions on things if time allows, and if your growth allows for that, and being open and willing to do that in public. And so when you get, people that are really, really set in their ways, especially publicly, they have a hard time changing their opinions because their whole ego, their whole business, their whole life is set on those opinions about certain things.
And I realize it's hard to be in the public changing your opinion about things because we're on the other end. Like, I mean, I think it takes some guts, This is not an easy thing. This is not an easy road to be on,
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really fulfilling, but at the same time, it's really, and it's freeing, but it scares the heck out of me sometimes. Like, you're really putting yourself out there, and it's wild. Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a thick skin. You have to not worry about what people think.
Yeah, and I'm the last person in the world who is that way, so this is like a very big challenge for me. Yeah. But it's part of it causes the most immense growth, and is that not all what we're here for?
It's an incredibly fun journey, isn't it?
It is. Sounds like there's a parade going outside right now.
I know, outside of our studio.
It's the weirdest day. Do you hear kids like chanting and yelling?
I do.
Maybe it's the ghost parade. The ghost children parade.
Well, this is about time to wrap it up. This is a very quick show that we're doing. And you have to go do a couple clients, right?
I do. I'm making up for being gone for 2 Saturdays. So unfortunately, I'm going into work. But thanks everybody for bearing with us in the weirdness today with the timing and the lack of our guest. And hopefully this was a good conversation to be a part of, I hope.
Yeah, we were so excited to talk with Dr. Larry Lytle, and we're going to be doing that on Tuesday. We're going to switch him on the schedule October 5th. So, which we normally don't do that, but all of our shows are booked up for a long time. So we wanted to make sure to get him back on. So we're going to do a special Tuesday show on October 5th with Dr. Larry Lytle. And tomorrow's show is not going to be live. We're going to pre-record that. We're going to do another show today.
Yeah.
And we're going to release that tomorrow. So it won't be live. We apologize for that, but sometimes that happens.
We'll be back on track next week.
In the wonderful world of radio, sometimes these things happen.
So we will be live again starting next Monday, right?
That's correct.
We'll have live shows all next week then, every day.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So next week, if you miss us the next couple of days, we will be in your face all next week.
All next week. Actually, let's see. Who do we have next week? We have, where are we? Let's see. July. So, it's coming up August.
I know.
Next week we have David Jockers, Dr. David Jockers. He was recently in Ty Bollinger's Healing Cancer Summit.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Jockers?
We'll put a link to Ty's summit there, the Quest for the Cures. And then we have our show with Dr. Larry Lytle on Tuesday. Then Tisha Morris, we're going to be talking about energy medicine and I think feng shui.
Oh.
On Wednesday.
Nice. I can't wait for that.
The energy of feng shui in mind, body, and home. And then Dr. Lloyd Jenkins next week. So that'll be, we're going to be talking about the Budwig protocol.
Oh, nice.
That'll be fun. Cool stuff, right?
We got a good lineup, don't we?
Good lineup. All right. So that was a short show, 45 minutes, man. That seems so short these days, doesn't it?
Maybe it evens out with all the 2.5 hour ones we do.
I know, we do such long shows.
Yeah, it was really fun though.
Yeah. So we want to thank all you guys for being on the show, on the live show page, and becoming a part of everything we have going on. If you haven't signed up to our newsletter list, that's the best way for you guys to stay in touch with everything we have going on. And we highly suggest getting on there. We send you an email actually once a week, and then on Sundays we send you a recap of all the shows that we have produced that previous week, so you can get a recap of all the shows. So it's a pretty cool way to stay in touch with everything we have going on. If you go to our website, you can find out ways to do that. And then we also give away a free ebook as well, 177-page ebook, Lessons from the Miracle Doctors. So get on our email list and sign up and join. All you have to do is put your name and email address in, and then we send you an email, and you click confirm, and then you're off and running. Off to the races.
You're off and running. I love that.
So
all European.
All European. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it so, so much, and your support means the world to us with our store and emails you send in and sending our show on to your friends. It just means so much to us, so we really appreciate that so much.
And we'll catch you on the next. We'll catch you on the next episode.
There you go.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog is discussed in the context of numerous conditions, it can be dangerous to take action based on any information in this blog or to start any health program without first consulting a health professional. The content found here is for informational purposes only and is in no way intended as medical advice, as a substitute for medical counseling,